Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Life Money Balance Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Preston Cherry. You know what we do here. We chop it up about letting your life lead your money, not your money leading your life, where your life and money are working concurrently to help you achieve your life's design. We call that live aspirationally. All right. So you've decided to start your money journey. And what now? I get that question all the time when people are wanting to start their journey. They said, yes, I want to start. And as part of that A block that I like talking about, which is to admit where we are, acknowledge how we feel about it so we can start taking some action. And then we aspire and achieve and align our goals, aspire to do them and go about achieving them. And that's an A block, right? And when we decide where we want to go, or that we want to start on our journey, but now what? Because there's a lot of information out there in the Google machine, the Twitter space, right? The TikTok, the YouTube. All right, I'm putting the on everything. You put a that means it's something, right? The professionals. So there's so many models that you could follow, professionals that you can follow, pathways. It's the pathway. What do you connect with, or how do you know what pathway to follow? And this is what I will want to share with you today to try to help you out with is once you decide that you want to start your journey, because that's what we're trying to get to, right? We all want to live aspirationally. We want a sense of well-being. We want financial wellness. This being of it's just existence, right? We want this permission to live boldly, to be courageous, to envision where we want to be, where we want to go, what we don't want to do anymore, as far as how we don't want to live. Uh, we've had these, what I like to call, 3T, 2C. And these 3T, 2Cs help us connect with our journey and provide glue to our money, life and money journey. And what are those 3T, 2C that we're talking about, right? We're talking about trial, talking about triumph, we're talking about transition. And those things happen through our life's course. Things happen, right? What those things can be things that we have to work through, those trials. Life is ebb and flow. Life is ebb and flow. So we got to work through those trials. And what are those triumphant moments, right? Those things that bring delight to our face, to our spirit, right? And then what are those transition moments? Those periods to where we are, those seasons in life that we're going to, those transitional events, whatever they may be, because they happen across life as well. Okay. And then we have these 2Cs, right? We have these champion moments. We have these challenging moments. Well, I guess I should have reversed that with tone, right? I should have said we have challenging moments, right? And then champion moments. And those challenging moments are what people like to call like pain points. What are those pain points that says, I don't want to do that anymore, or that made me feel a certain way to where, that brought me to a point. And I guess you can align that with trial, but trial happens across a continuum, across time. And then a challenge or a pain point is that point in time is a challenge point. It's like, okay, that's it. All right. There's a thing that's happening or a thing that happened, or something's happening. I don't want to deal with that going forward. So I do want to deal with that. I just don't want to do it anymore. So what's that challenge point? What's a champion point that I'm looking forward to that is coming, whether it be whatever that may be. So 3T2C, right? So these are this connective glue. Also, how we're experiencing our life and our money. It's very important as well. These aspects of how we feel, think, behave, our experiences, our values, our attitudes, our stories, all of this is going to help us figure out where we want to go on our journey. Very important. Okay. Now, since we've decided where we want to go, we've done this thing called a healthy, excuse me, honest self audit. I like to call. We have a health savings account that we like to. We'll talk about those later. And I love health savings accounts. By the way, that's a money mechanic. But when we're talking about doing an audit on ourselves, an investigation on ourselves, an honest self audit, and then we've decided, okay, we've done the A block, we've done all this, and we say, well, all right, where do we want to go? All right, now what? What pathway do we choose? What pathway do we choose? Do we go through a professional? All right. Do we partner up with a professional to help us along our way? Do we, and then uh, or do we use a platform? All right, there's platforms out there to where you connect with someone or a platform that's caught your attention with a lot of content. Okay, and the content is great, but where's is there content and context that's helping you out consistently? How do you do due diligence on that? And if it's great. All right, but we want to investigate that. So is it a platform? Is it a professional? What pathway do you choose? Okay, and then when you're talking about a pathway, is it financial planning? Is it financial coaching? I'm sure you've heard these words bantied about, and these are some of the pathways that I want to help you explore, so you can say, okay, I'm ready to go now. What do I do next? Okay, and there's a couple of questions that I'd like for you to ask, yourself while you do your first thoughts about your pathway, which will really help you really in start to. I was about to say enjoy, right? Really engage is another word. To really start to engage, and really when I say enjoy is to receive value and really start to um, as I said, engage, but also really understand what that transformation feeling is all about, because you're not going to be able to feel that until you identify where it is you are and where you want to go. And then when that pathway choice is aligned with that, and then that resource connects with you in a way, and then is partnered up with you, and then that is going down a path, and you're starting to experience these moments. Oh, then you start feeling it, and you're like, okay, now we're ready to rock. We're rocking and rolling, and you don't know what it is until you're in it. Okay, so here's some questions before you choose a pathway, because the questions are going to help you choose the pathway. Question 1A and 1B is, where are you in your journey, and what are your needs? Where are you in your journey, and what are your needs? Because if you are in your fundamental stage, or your beginning stage of your journey, right? And I will get to your needs in a minute. If and your needs are here as well. If you're in the fundamental or your beginning part of your journey, mechanic wise, and also mindset wise, so you're trying to elevate your behaviors, you're trying to your decision making, you're trying to get some empowerment, some encouragement, right? You're getting that education game up, all of that. All right, and those fundamental building blocks need to be met. You're also probably looking for some community, some accountability, some support. Also, wanting someone to help you facilitate and unlock both the mindset and the mechanics, because who's going to work with you, right? Not only in an individual setting, but probably a group setting more than likely, and then a community at that. All right, then this is building health in order to get right, and really start get going. All right, that's that coaching element. It sounds like coaching, don't it? So that is financial coaching when you're working on those fundamental elements, both mechanically and mindset, right? You're getting that encouragement, that education, that 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 health building, and you're getting that and you more than likely get in a you can get in a one-on-one in a community setting as well. So that's really that's a good place to be. So when you're asking yourself, where am I in my journey, and what are my needs? Well, that helps you connect with a pathway, right? It could also be in a platform orient too, or orientation as well. You get into a platform, you're like, oh, okay, I connect with this. Connection is a really good litmus test as well. Where do you connect with? And that's going to be all through these choices too, because it's about trusting, feel, connection, but you also want to verify. I can't stress that enough as well. Just because you connect with someone, a professional or a platform or a pathway, you also want to be partnered and getting your information and um, being uplifted and elevated by a good resource that's going to give you good information along the way as well. So you want to verify it's a trusted resource as well. We're going to bring some ways into how to verify that, or what to look into in order to do some due diligence there. So you see how those questions kind of eased on into that pathway. Now, if we're talking about where your journey is, or where am I in my journey and what my need is, and your answers to your questions are a little bit different, to where you're past the fundamental stage. You're wanting, um, your behavior health is a little better. And I would tell you, I will share with you this too. You can get coaching in where I'm about to go too. So stay with me. All right. But when you're talking about financial planning, and you're talking about what my needs are and where my journey is, where you're wanting questions on and aspects on multiple integrated areas. You're talking about, cash flow management across now and a multiple years, tax now and of course across a multiple years. You're talking investments. You're talking risk management, multiple risk management, health, life, long term. You're also talking about employee benefits, retirement. People sleep on employee benefits. Employee benefits has a lot in there. It's particularly if you're either executive. You don't even have to be even executive. You can just have employee benefits, but executive or coordinating benefits. You can have restricted stock. I mean, just employee benefits is a lot. Okay. Then you're talking estate planning. So you have a multitude, and then you're also talking about not now, but across a life cycle, across multiple life cycles, so transition periods. And then the key thing that I want to stress with you, as far as financial planning is concerned, is advice. The word advice. You're going to get customized advice with financial planning. Okay, tailored to you, tailored to your household, integrating those elements and several others, because you got those macro categories and you have those subcategories. One decision is going to affect another. Okay. So using multiple resources, multiple categories, getting advice on how one of those affects another across time, across multiple resources. All right. So you're going to get advice in that area. Whereas in financial uh, coaching, you're going to get education and information and encouragement there. Whereas in financial planning, you're going to get more comprehensive, collective, uh, uh, integrated advice, specific, tailored to you, bringing all that home. Okay, and also too, you could get some implementation and monitoring services in a financial planning framework as well, if you choose to get ongoing financial planning services. So you can, in both aspects of financial coaching and financial planning, you can receive moment in time services. So you can receive coaching across a month or two, however those classes are set up or those sessions are set up. Just and then financial advice and financial planning, right? You can receive that across 6 to 12 months, and then in both of those instances, whether it be coaching and planning, it's a a moment in time, 12 months or less, and then you're finished, and then you move on. You say, okay, I'm good to go. In a coaching aspect, you can be finished with coaching and then go into planning. Okay, in a planning aspect, you can say I'm done with planning, and then I'm gonna go on my own and take it from here. Same thing with coaching, by the way. You can go coaching to planning or coaching to I'm gonna take it from here. Okay, with planning, you can go from I'm gonna take it from here, or you can continue with services. You say, you know what, I liked what's going on here. I believe I need this ongoing. So let me go ahead and continue to pay for this, ongoing. All right. You can also receive investment management services on on financial planning as well, because you can receive advice in the financial planning realm and not receive investment management, or you can receive both. Okay, again, it's what your where your journey is and what you need. Okay, and here's another thing: both in coaching and planning. Okay, coaching is not a regulated uh, area. So a lot of people can call themselves a financial coach. A lot of people can call themselves a financial planner, but you'll find a little bit more structure in a financial planning world. So in either sense, you just want to do some due diligence on, whom is giving the information. Okay. With a financial coach, you want some social proof on who is giving the information. Did they have some experience in, giving this information for a long period of time? Okay. Well, did they have some financial services, whether it be long-term bank and, maybe some banking, maybe working in the community, giving a lot of financial expertise over a long period of time? Or were they a planner that switched over to coaching? Are they a coach? I mean, a financial coach that actually had some coaching experience, because this is a coaching profession, it can be. And, they have proof of that. Do they have even some designations that can show you some signals? Okay. So, uh, because we're in a world now to where there's platforms out here to where anyone could call themselves a financial coach, or even a planner for that matter. We want to just verify before we jump in. Okay, but there's some fabulous platforms out there too. So you got professional, and also professionals you can partner with, but you can also go with platforms where your YouTubes, your social platforms. You can get some excellent information from. There's some personalities, so platform personalities, and also personalities with books and the like. All right. Just want you to make sure that for those that with content that you're following, make sure you're getting context with content. Everything is snips now, snips of this, snips of that, snips of this. So make sure that all with the snips, you're actually getting context through either elongated podcasts, blogs, or with some with some intellect behind those snippets and whatnot. And you can do that by doing some due diligence on their other long form areas and looking on behind their and into their backgrounds as well. So financial coaching, financial planning, by asking yourself, what your journey, where you are on your journey, and then also what are your needs, and then that way will help you define what pathway to go down, and you'll really set expectation for yourself. All right, and we also discuss platforms as well. Okay, so that will help you that way. A couple of other questions to ask yourself is, what do you want to experience, and what is your engagement level? What do you want to experience, and what's your engagement level? Uh, what do you want to experience? Do you want a group setting? Do you want community? Do you want one-on-one? Do you want customized? Do you want to be really on your own? Do you want to do everything on your own? Do you just want to do research and you know watch YouTube, or do you want to do everything on your own? That takes a lot of time and whatnot. But that will also what is your engagement level, and what do you want to experience? How do you want to be connected with? That will also help you with your pathway. Okay, so uh, if you know this, or if you've done some investigation, if you take the time up top, then you'll be like, okay, when you get into or choose a pathway, and then you do your investigation, further due diligence of who's providing the pathway, then once you're into it, again, you start receiving the value, you start having the value, you start having the experience, the transformation is there, start happening. Because if these are misaligned, the key is if they're misaligned, then there's a disconnect, and then you may not want to stay with it, uh, and then it stops the process of you going on your journey, and then you say, you know what, I don't want to do that anymore. Then we're right back at square one, right? So asking these questions: where are you in your journey? What are your needs? What do you want to experience? And what's your engagement level? Will help you decide what pathway you want to choose, and uh, pathway or choosing a professional or pathway, professional or platform, and then we can go from there. Um, I will say too, as an extension, particularly with coaching and planning, you can receive coaching inside of planning. Okay, you can receive coaching and this thing called financial therapy, which that's a whole nother realm, which is and you're just using remnants of financial, because financial therapy and because financial therapy can be uh, broken out, and you can get services strictly for that. What is financial therapy, by the way? All right, this is where you know we're dealing with, again, more of the emotional aspect, behaviors, feelings, and relational aspects. Say, for instance, you're in a relationship, and there's this thing called financial infidelity, right? Where you have couples who are withholding information from each other, and it's really providing a barrier to progress, really providing a barrier to progress in a relationship. Now, that can come up in a framework of financial planning, and a professional who has the skill and the aptitude to address that, with some tools and some awareness. It gives you the time to work through that a little bit. That can the planning process with a professional that has those tools can help you work through that. Now, if it's severe enough, or if it's a more complex enough, then someone who practices financial therapy as a practice may need to just do that, and that may need to be broken out of the financial planning process. Okay, and deal with that along with maybe there's so many other areas of financial therapy we're talking about that need addressed. Maybe there is some um, relationships with money in the past that may be barriers to progress. Um, Maybe some money shame, money trauma there. Again, these can be investigated in the financial planning process. However, again, if they're uh, real entrenched and they need more attention, then financial therapy is a way to go. Okay, so what I'm saying here is again, these can be identified a little bit in the questions that you have, and say, okay, what do I need? Um, I would also say that the financial planning in of itself is a process. Have someone, and I would say that in coaching too, uh, and with therapy. Let's let if you're entering with a professional, okay, this is absent a platform, because a platform and educational courses. We'll get to that in a minute, to where you're a platform because you're separated from a partnership. Okay, when you're talking about a platform and educational courses, but if you're talking about coaching and you're talking about planning, all right, let there be a process. Let somebody listen to you, your values, your experiences, your culture, your attitudes towards money, your your stories, your you. All right. Uh, Somebody ought to be listening to you and valuing you, because um, and creating an environment to where there is less shame, less judgment. There's some empathetic connection there, where there's an environment to where you are encouraged to want to share the things that are inside so you can progress, because you're there already. You want to, right? And so that's what that with aspect, and both of these paradigms where we're talking about working with a professional in coaching, planning, and even if we're talking about getting in further into therapy, financial therapy, if need be. All right. So make sure there's a process, and you're feeling valued in those areas, and then those elements help unlock the realm of education and being informed and inspired to want to hear uh, education on the coaching side, and information and suggestion, and then on the planning side would be okay, uh, actual advice that are tailored to you, the recommendations, right, the take to action, and all that, and then learning about the multiple integrated uh, elements, because there's going to be some complexity there and all that. All of those inputs of you, those unique fingerprint of yourself, those intangible tangible, so to speak. All right, those are going to inform the numbers, and they're also going to encourage you want to hear those recommendations of the numbers in order to facilitate the plan. Okay, so that's very important also. So those four questions: where are you in your journey? What are your needs? What do you want to experience? And what's your engagement level? Will let you know whether you're going to choose a coaching, planning. All right, so those are the professionals, or a platform to where you're engaged with someone through, or a team, or some a, uh, a a platform with people on it, and they're on a social platform, YouTube, this, that, and the other. Then your experience is separated from a professional, but they're giving you information, and you ready to rock with that. Okay, you ready to rock with that? That's cool. All right, but across all these paradigms, and even the educational course, yeah, those are on demand. By the way, you can on demand that, download that. You can take that information and rock with that, right, all day long. And those educational courses can be on anything from fundamentals, that's a paradigm from fundamental topical information, from budgeting, which I like, which I call savings plan or spending plans. We'll get to that later. But basically, I just shared with you right now. Savings plans, people don't like to save, but if you call them spending plans, right? It says, okay, what can I spend? All right, because if you spend a little bit, then saving is built into that, because spending plans get to share what you can do. All right. And savings plan says, well, oh, you're telling me what I can't do. All right. So it's just kind of like it's a framing technique that helps us inspire all of us to say, okay, this will help me stick with my plan. But anyway, that's a little bit of a tangent. All right. That said, it's, what do you want to experience into, what's your, as far as your on demand download classes. All right, so it can be from savings plans to uh, options. It could be on investments. It could be on retirement plans. It could be on business structure. It could be on estate planning. On demand classes, but it's dealing with that one thing, right? So again, what do you want to experience? What are your needs? What are your needs? Asking yourself those 4 questions. What is your journey? What are your needs? What are your experience? And what's your engagement level will help you choose a pathway that you can experience some connectedness, some progress, some transformation, some achievement, achieving your life goals, right? And this is how you can live aspirationally and really get that feeling that you want. So I want to read you something that Dr. Martin Luther King said in a speech, and he said so much besides "I Have a Dream," because when he spoke across his lifetime, he spoke on economics, he spoke on philosophy, he spoke on social concerns, he spoke on so much, and he was giving a speech on he's always speaking on inspiration, but he spoke on what is your aspiration? He spoke on, it was called a blueprint speech. And it goes back to what your life design is, creating your life design. And it also goes to what you're ready to make a change right now. And you made a choice, and now it's selecting a pathway, asking these 4 questions. And then how are you going to experience your transformation going forward? All right. So what is it? Here's this quote. It's fabulous. What is in your life's blueprint? This is a most important and crucial period of your lives. For what you do now and what you decide now may well determine which way your life shall go. I'm like, let me read that again. What is in your life's blueprint? This is a most important and crucial period of your lives. For what you do now and what you decide now may well determine which way your life shall go. Everything we've been talking about is right up in there. All right, this is real talk right here. What's your blueprint? What's your life's design? Be bold and courageous, right? and envision where you want to go. Live aspirationally, right? This is a most important and crucial period of your lives. It sure is, right? Because for what you do now and what you decide now may well determine which way your life shall go. That show you right. All right. Show you right. All right. So asking these 4 questions and picking your pathway will help you with your blueprint, your life's design, and help you live aspirationally. I hope some information in here helped you decide which way you'd like to go, helped you with your due diligence, and helped you make it a little bit easier. So we continue to chop it up about life, money, balance. Always remember to let your life lead your money, not your money lead your life. And we'll see you next time. Also, for those right on YouTube, if you like what you hear, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you next time as well. Cheers.